This tutorial is on the financial section of the SASS Premier Scoring System. So it'll track and keep track of all your expenses, revenue that's coming in, so that you can get a good idea of what it cost you to run your match. The first thing you want to do when you're setting up your match is to make sure we have all that financial data set up properly. If you go into your match, the first thing we'll check is our main match fees. Now that's exactly what it means. This is strictly for your main match. Any other expenses or any other revenue fees you've got coming in, we will look at those later. But right now this is strictly for the main match, the fees that you're charging for the main match. Okay. All others fees and will be put into your event master. So anything else that you want to track, even if it has no money involved in it at all, will go into this section. One of the things that I've known clubs have done is, say on their Saturday night dinner, maybe they have two entrees that they're giving. Maybe they have a salmon and a prime rib. So they would put Saturday night dinner salmon, Saturday night dinner, prime rib, and then if maybe the prices are different, maybe it costs more for one than the other one. So when people sign up, they put that information on their registration form so people can check which dinner they want, and you get a count of those. So if you're going to a restaurant, wherever you're having, you will be able to give them some idea of how many of each type of dinner that you're going to be given. So, but right now we're just going to do the one. So we'll go in and check all those out, put your fees in. If you're selling hats, you can put in hats, you know, small, medium, large, and different prices or different colors. Whatever you have to do, you can put into here. Okay, the next thing you want to do is set up your expenses. So in your expenditures, you can go in and we'll go into our expenditure master, and here we will set up all the vendors or what we're going to be buying, or any place where we're going to be buying. You can always go in later if you need to and add a new one if you find you had to buy something else. You can put a memo in here if you wanted to. It's just a matter. These are strictly your where you're spending some of your money. Then you can go in, say we've gone in and we've got some, we're going in and we've rented the porta potties. So we'll go in and we'll put porta potties, and we got those rented. We rented those on the 1st of June 2017, which is a little, and it cost us $450, and we had an invoice number of, okay, we also got the plaques, the awards set up, award plaques, and we ordered those back in say May 21st 2017, and those cost us $365. And we also, maybe we've got office supplies that we're going to, where we got off, there's office supplies, and we spent $35 in office supplies. And we don't, you could, in here you could put you know, where it was, say Office Depot, if you want. So anything, so you know exactly what the money was spent, where it was spent, and things like that. Okay. The other thing you want to do is if you're going to be charging a cancellation fee, you want to go in, and that is saying in your match setup. So you go to your match setup, and we're going to do a cancel here, and under the additional match options, which is the tab on the far side here, you will put in your cancellation fee, which is $20 on this one. So then that should be all you need. This is going to stay here. It's not going to, when you clear for another match, that doesn't go away. So if you're next year, if you decide you're going to charge $25 cancellation fee, you'll want to go in and make sure that you change that. Okay, so now let's go in and register a shooter. And I'm going to show you something on how I do when a person sends in. Well, I'll do myself here. And I sent in an application for myself and my wife, and I wrote a check for the total amount of both entry fees. So what that's going to do is I'm the primary, and we also signed up for a Saturday night dinner. So I'm going to just, if you press the S, it'll jump to the first part of the S's, and that happens to be Saturday night. Okay, now because my check was for $170, actually $165 is what the check was for. I am going to put in the check number, and this part was, so if I would have put the total amount of that check in here, it's going to show me owing somebody, $70 here. So we've gone ahead and now let's go in and register the spouse, and 64250. Okay, and in here she's going to be Van Dam, and she's the spouse, and she also ordered a Saturday night dinner. So if we just press the S, it jumps right and happens to be the first one in the list. And then again, what I do is I put the same check number down and the total amount. So we've now balanced everybody out. So once we say we've registered a half a dozen, or maybe I don't know how often you want to do your bank deposit with the money, but if you can go into your reports, and in the report section you can go to deposit report. Now we want to recalculate because we want to get all the current information in there, and at this point it says view a deposit report that has already been marked as in balance. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to get the current one. Now what this does, this comes up and says deposit report in balance. Select yes, will mark the report as being in balance, and these shooters will not show up on the next deposit report. Well, I'm going to say no to that because I want to double check it first to make sure that it is in balance. So if we take a look at this, you will see that there's the deposit slip. It's kind of like it gives the check number, and here you'll see where this check was split. So if you need to go in and look at this, here's another one that we split with these two people. So what we've done is you can look at the check numbers, and here's another check that was split. So if you need to look at your checks and see what they were to make sure that they balance out, or just add them up, look at the total, yes, that's the amount. Now this report is a detail of this. It shows all the different information. Here's the primary and Saturday night dinner and the total and the check number. Here's Saturday night dinner and the check number. So you can go through this one and show, now this is a comp shooter, and so forth. So you can go down the line and look at the detail of each one of these if you need to. Okay? So that's the deposit report. So you can go ahead and make a deposit now of that. Now what you can also do is look at your event report, and I'm going to recalculate this one also just to be on. So we'll see that, and print and complete yes. Okay, so at this point we could do a expense report if we wanted to, and this shows the expenses, but they are also tied into our summary over here. So you can see that we have had, we got 8 camping. This breaks it down individually. With our expenses so far, we're still ahead. We got 6 spouse, we got 11 primary. Now the reason this is high, that shows the total map, because I've got more data in here, but this normally would show how many shooters are current, and I'll show you that when I do the complete list here in a little bit. But right now that would have probably shown 17 people. and we had 4, so it'd be 17 and 4 is 21 shooters. Okay. Okay. So those are the reports that you're going to need to do. Now, say that is in balance, so we'll go back and do our we'll say yes to this. And at this point, we can go ahead and say yes. Now that's going to mark those as being in balance, so they won't show up again. Okay, so now we've gone in and we've registered a bunch of more shooters. I haven't gone through all that because it takes some time. But let's go ahead and we'll do another deposit report. And we'll recalculate. And we're going to say no because we don't want to preview a previous one. And we're going to say no because we're going to look at this. And we look at our deposit report. We got our summary here just like we did before. So we can go down and we say, okay, yes, let's go to the end here and we'll go, yep, we are, everything's in balance. Okay, so now we could just go back and mark those as being in balance, and all you have to do is go in and say, you don't need to recalculate, just go in and say yes, and we'll mark those as being in balance. Okay, so now what's happened is we've got a cancellation that came in. So let's go ahead and we're going to cancel that person. Okay, so we're going to go in now. There's a couple ways. You could uncheck this box, but that would not give you any options as to do you want to clear and give a refund. So the cancellation button is down here. So we're going to cancel this shooter. And it's going to, do you wish to cancel the shooter completely? Now, if this person had signed up for, say, the Wild Bunch or a warm-up, and maybe they were just going to cancel out of the Wild Bunch, you could say no, and it would select just the Wild Bunch to cancel. But we're canceling the complete person. And does the person to get a refund? Yes. And are we going to charge a cancellation fee? Yes. Okay, so now we've got the now in your report section you have a report called cancellations. This will list the people that have been canceled. Debbie, the address, the amount paid, cancellation fee, and what we're refunding. So at this point you could write a check, go ahead and mail it back. But now what we can do is let's go ahead and look at, we want to do a financial report. So we're going to do an event report, and that's going to give us all the information about our match. We're recalculating it because we have the cancellation in there and everything else. Okay, so we're going to do a complete list. And we could print an expense report out. We're going to say yes because that's just going to show you the expenses. So here is the expenses report. We could have a lot more depending, but right now we show $850 in expenses. And we've got two reports. We've got a summary and we've got a detail. So in the summary report, if we look at it, it shows all that, even we've got one cancellation, and that's the $20 fee, and we've got a $50 credit because that's the refund we're sending back. So if we add all these up, this is the total amount we've done so far. Now we've got 129 shooters, and if you count up, you'll go, there's a buckaroo, there's comp, that's 19, 81 and 29, that's 110, and 19 is 129, so you got 129. Now if you had other things in there, warm-ups and everything else listed, they would show up in here also as how many for each match. Okay, and then over here of course it breaks it down by individual categories. So if you wanted to, you could see who's coming in camping, and you could and what you can do in this, say that you want to give your shooters your camping person a list of those coming in. You could go in and say no, and at this point we can select those that we want. So we want to do just get the camping right now, and that'll print out just the camping list. So it'll show, okay, we got 38 campers coming in. So you could print this, give this to your camping person, who's ever in charge, so he can check them off as they come in, so he knows they're all in alphabetical sequence. So you can just go ahead and check off those people as they come in for the camping. Now, of course, if you were doing an RV, and you can also go back and do other ones too at the same time. Maybe you want to go in and do your Saturday night dinners. So this prints out the Saturday night dinner list, which will then give you the option of going in and picking up the dinners, and they can check them off as they come in. Once again, it's in alphabetical order, so this could be handed and they could just check them off as they come in to do get their dinner tickets and so forth. So okay, let's see, what else is there in the registration information. These are just different reports on your registration. This kind of gives you a list of all the registered people, but we've gone through those before. And if you need them to sign or anything like that, they can go in and this is in the same order. They pick up their packet and you want them to sign it or whatever. Okay, well, that pretty much handles the financial side of the program. Of course, if you find something that you don't see in the video, I would appreciate it if you would just email me, and we'll go from there. I'll try to come up with a good answer for you. Okay, well, thank you.